Hopefully that grabbed okay. I'm hoping on YouTube it didn't get all stupid, because I feel like YouTube would probably be more stupid. At any rate, let's hope that's not the case. Yep, YouTube is stupid. The moment I went out, it went in. Let me go ahead and go to my channel again. There we are. Okay. Cool. Let's close that. I'm gonna have to edit that video together, which is not a big deal, but I'll go back and have to like edit it. I should have thought of that, and I should have just taken care of just Twitch, but that's fine. It's fine. I'll figure that out. Learning curve. At any rate, like I was saying, we're touching on spiritual safety today. Oop, there goes my veil, because this veil likes to flop back and forth on me. Okay. So before we get into any of like the deep stuff, what is spiritual safety and what does it actually mean? It's not about fear, it's about alignment. So when we protect our spirit and our space, what we're really doing is maintaining harmony with the Holy Spirit. So remember, I am a Christian mystic, so I'm going to be using more Hebrew word names for like the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay, so again, with this in our space, what we're trying to do is maintain harmony with Yahuwah, and His divine order. So energy flows everywhere. Some energy can invite peace and some can invite confusion. So it's up to us to help make sure that that flow stays sacred and safe. Okay, so with that, that's why we're touching on spiritual safety today, especially again, because the veil is thinning. And again, this is what we touched on. It's not about fear. It's about alignment. Protection is about maintaining those sacred boundaries. And because of the energy flow, we want to make sure that we always maintain peace and not confusion. Right? Now, I don't know who else is watching and who's hanging out right now, but what do you believe that you guys deal with this? Do you believe that your home holds energy? Do you believe that you've done what you've needed to do to maintain that energy? I just realized I did not put that I was live on Instagram. Just give me a moment. Okay. Whew. You very much seem to be a target for extreme spiritual. Oh, it feels like you're losing your mind. It can happen. I'm not exactly sure how I would say your name, but hi, welcome in. And I'm glad you recognize that. I think the first thing is recognizing that you may be, and I wouldn't say an easy target, but that you might be dealing with something, right? A lot of times when we are heightened in emotion throughout the day, that's when we can become targets, if that makes sense. Okay. So just keep that in mind, and we will talk about different things. I'm talking about not just like the day to day, but I'm going to be talking about like things in our home, things that we use. Again, I am a Christian mystic. There are things that I do have. I do have tools. I do have, I do believe in herbs and spices. I do believe in working with candles and with incense and things like that. With that said, it is something that we will touch on later, but just so you kind of get an idea of where we're starting. And thank you for coming in. I appreciate you and being coming in with, things. Hopefully I can have some kind of answers for you and I can help you with something as we get through it. So right now we're going to be talking about mirrors. I know a lot of times people don't think anything much about mirrors. They don't really understand that mirrors can have their own energy attached to them, right? Across traditions, mirrors have been seen as energetic gateways. They reflect light, but they can also reflect energy. So even scripture will talk about this. We see through glass darkly, meaning that even the truth is sometimes distorted. This is why, I bless my mirrors, and I do have a a prayer here for those of you if you want to go ahead and screenshot. But there you go. In the name of Yahuwah, may this mirror reflect only divine light and truth. Okay. Let's go back into it being a possible portal. So because of how because of traditions around mirrors, it is important to keep your mirrors just as protected as everything else that you would in your home. Okay. Especially if you're bringing in a mirror from like a thrift shop or a garage sale, things like that. There's other energy that was already captured in that mirror with what was going on in that home. So you want to make sure that nothing is stuck in that mirror, is being used in that mirror. And mind you, there are many higher level religious leaders that also believe in mirrors holding energy or being open gateways, right? Now, the other thing about it is there are some superstitions around mirrors, and I'm not quite sure how I believe in them, but I do believe that if you treat every mirror like a possible portal, then lock your portal. You know what I mean? And if that's going to be the case, then yeah, just be really careful about them. Be careful around them. With some of the superstitions, I do know some of them have been there are some beliefs, some what is it called? Some religious beliefs that feel that when somebody passes, their soul can get trapped in a mirror. So they cover the mirrors so that when somebody passes, while they're passing and things like that. So black scrying mirrors, that's something else. Scrying is its own thing too. So obviously it's used for gateways in other directions. Again, when it comes to, what was I saying? When it comes to death, a lot of times they believe that the soul can get caught, trapped in the mirror, right? So then you have a ghost that's literally or a spirit living within that mirror. There are other, especially if mirrors are in spaces of high tragedy, that believe that they can get, that the souls can be trapped, right? Another thing is there's a belief that because mirrors are seen as portals, that it is not wise to have mirrors facing your bed, because when you are asleep, you are more vulnerable in the spiritual realm, and if something is able to come in and out of that mirror, it has a higher chance of messing with you, right? Now, I have a hard time believing that. I have 4 mirrors facing my bed. Mind you, I do deal with a lot of my own spiritual warfare here and there, but I don't ever believe that it has been my mirrors. On the other hand, I also do bless my mirrors, so that could also be the reason why I'm not dealing with stuff on the nightly, if that makes any sense. I bless my mirrors, any mirror that comes into my space. I do sage and pray over it, or use Palo Santo and pray over it, or use an oil. It just kind of depends on what I feel in the moment, but that has to do with my own spiritual connection with Yahuwah, and how I feel guided by the Ruach HaKodesh, okay? And that makes things very, very different. Now, with that said, since we are talking about the mirrors, we are going to... oh, what is happening? There we go. We're going to watch this video. It is some spooky reacts, guys. It makes it a little bit fun, but it is basically talking about mirrors as portals and like some things just basically caught in them. Not tricky. Emerging Christianity with mysticism. Is it not tricky? Some Bible verses clearly advise us to avoid it completely. Oh, see, that's where I think things are very different. I've done a lot of my own research and understanding, and you just need you need to make sure that your faith is bigger than your works at all times, and that's for anything. So the best way to say that is you can believe what you want to believe. We're going to put it that way. But at the end of the day, it is your relationship with Yahuwah. It's your relationship with Yahuwah, Yahshua, and the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh, sorry. And if you are not in alignment in your faith, then that's when things can go astray. And as somebody who has been given the gift of spiritual discernment, and I have what this world, or what this what's the best way of saying it? What people now understand as mediumship is something that I naturally have. And it's not something that I take lightly, because I've realized that because I have this gift, I'm meant to use it so that I can help guide others when they have theirs. And it's just very different. For some, it'd be like playing with fire. You could actually step the line and let something unwanted in. No, because you cannot let something unwanted in if you are only aligned with Yahuwah. So the only time I would allow that something that would be dangerous for me, like allowing something in, is if, one, I put faith in my tools, which is again something we'll touch on later, and two, when I if I were to put faith in something other than the Holy Trinity. If I were to start to step into, say I started to revere and pray to Hecate or Freya, and I'm saying all of these people because these are divine female entities, right? That a lot of people, a lot of women gravitate to, right? And yeah, I've been very curious about them, and I've done a lot of research about them, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that makes sense to me, and things like that. But I'm very quickly convicted because of my faith and who I know that my faith should lie in. So there are times that I will ask, I will go directly to Yahuwah, asking specifically, are we, I would like to feel more divine in my femininity. I would like to feel more connected spiritually in my femininity, and I'd like to reflect it more. I would like to be seen more in this way, and I will ask like those in prayer, like those who see Aphrodite, like those who see Isis, if that makes any sense. So I will not say that I want their presence in my life, but I will use them the same way that they, like, different things have been used in the Bible. If you kind of read through them, where they kind of refer to what is being asked for, but it's not with with the blessing of that thing or that person or that entity. It's more like the same way as this is looked at, the same way as this is revered, the same way as, if that makes sense. So there have been times where I have done that and I have prayed on in that regard. But again, it's all with Yahuwah's blessing and his Yahweh. I don't say Yahweh anymore. I say Yahuwah. Um yes. So I cling to Yahuwah, Yahshua, and Ruach HaKodesh. That is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay. Yahuwah's the actual way that his name was said, not Yahweh. So that's why I go back to it. It's the Hebrew way of connecting, and obviously our our what's it, my background is in like the God of Abraham and Isaac, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's my father, right? Yeah, exactly. Hashem. um it feels safe. So I do feel safe knowing that my boundaries lie within Yahuwah. And I test everything, if that makes sense. We are like, that's something that we are actually told to do. That's something we're guided to do. So it's something that I do, that, yeah, I do hold true to. And there are times that I have been, again, convicted because I've realized, wow, I did almost fall into that slippery slope, you know. Um, but again, with that being said, because of my own natural gifts, um, I do ask for Yahuwah to be present. I do ask for Ruach Hakodesh to be present in the moment that I am in what others would see as divination. But for me, it's just an alignment. It's just a tuning to my own gift, and just, allowing myself to use it uh when Yahuwah has allowed it. So and I say that because, like, even though, yeah, I can say I can do this today and whatever, I still always pray prior to. And if in prayer I'm realizing that, like, I'm feeling uncomfortable or whatever it may be, it's because it's not the time for me to use the gift, and I will then shut it off, and then I'll go into something else. But yeah, let me go ahead and show you. Really crazy in the moment. It is, and maybe that's the reason I felt so drawn to, like, talking about spiritual protection this year. I feel like there has just been a lot going on. So we will get to that. Give me a second. And yes, we touch on different things. Again, I am a Christian mystic. I do not see things the same way as a black and white, whatever, evangelical church or whatever it may be. I do not see things the same way. So I am going based off of my own spiritual alignment with Yahuwah, with my own prayers over time. Okay. I didn't just fall into this. I didn't just say, oh, I'm gonna pick up a tarot deck, oh, I'm gonna pick this crystal up and whatever. Not a Gnostic. I don't know if that's what you would consider me. I do know that I do revere, like, the Apocrypha and, like, the Book of Enoch, the Book of Thomas, things that have been removed from the like full scripture. I do believe all of it means something, but no, I don't know. I don't know if I could consider myself Gnostic. I don't really like to put the label on it. I just know that I am Christian, if that makes sense. And the reason I won't be is because I don't feel, based off my understanding of Yahshua, I don't feel that us being labeled in anything was his purpose. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into the fairly eclectic. No, yeah, I am not. From root to throne. That's interesting. Hi, Secreto. I like that. How are you? Welcome in, love. Water's wealth by knowledge known, responsibility from root to throne. What do you use that for? Or is that like to literally, like, as water, you're able to create abundance? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things we can touch on, a lot of that, but ancient roots, deep knowledge brings water's worth. The wealth brings our sacred trust, our guardian light, to hold its flow with measured might, a grand responsibility, clear and true for all the world and me and you. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that because if you don't understand Christianity the way that I do, then you won't understand that that is actually very aligned with what the Bible says about God and being the source. And a lot of times he is considered the river. He is considered, all like flowing water. Water gives life. Things like that. So very cool. I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. Again, this is more of a react to like some spooky stuff that has happened around mirrors, since that's what we're talking about right now, and being careful around mirrors. So let's go ahead and get into this. So you just kind of get an idea. This is just about 8 minutes. And then after that, we're gonna touch on tarot and etiquette around tarot. Haunted is my house. Feels a wealth of water tells, a liquid grace of every year, demanding responsibility through. Why are you retracting what you said? We can't hear? We can't hear? Oh, okay. You're having a hard time hearing this. Give me a second. Let's see what's happening. Ooh. There we go. You should be able to get this. Deep roots hold fast, where knowledge lies, unearthing wealth beneath our skies. With this true responsibility, prepare for precious waters everywhere. Interesting. Okay, I think you guys should have it now. The Beer Biceps guy became a Christian. He has a cross. Is that you? I don't know. I've never seen this guy. So he came around with that. Yeah. Hi, Nanyers. How are you, my love? I've got a few people speaking through, YouTube. So just for the record, so you're not confused. Okay, so here, I'm gonna go back just a little bit.
Can find anything from here. So
it's not
a lot
really
of places we don't really
needed
but there are
here.
some places when we
talking
completely
about,
know
haunted
okay, fine, this
spaces.
is the main source of all the disturbances that are happening. So we get them back along, we shield it, and we get it back along. And so those are all there at my house right now. Okay, on top of the fridge.
On top of the fridge.
Yeah.
Wow, get up at night to make a cheese sandwich. And
Yeah.
Hey! And some cheese sandwiches.
I love that.
What's
Living
the star
water.
object in all those? What's the most intense one?
In those there is a mirror. There's a big mirror which opens a portal, and it will be like multiple entities that can go in and out through that. So we always keep it covered, and that is there on my loft.
What's a portal?
Is a portal is a doorway, is an entryway to the other world, to the other side of the world.
So
You're my guest last
All
week. Oh, what's
mirrors
up,
are portals?
Joseph? Welcome
No,
in,
they
love.
can be though. Potentially they can be, but they aren't.
We spoke with Joseph last week,
this
guys.
scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, dude. Like when I used to
Go back into
look in the
that
mirror
video.
and just smile, I used to feel like
Nah,
a
it's
little
not like
creeped
that.
out.
I mean, that is pareidolia. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you look at anything and your brain works that they try to form a pattern and whatever, you try to see different things. Not every mirror is a portal, not every place is haunted, and not everything is a demonic entity.
Exactly.
But portals are created by mirrors which are facing each other sometimes, because it causes an endless loop. So it gives a sort of what is that called? An entryway, a passageway for the other
vortex.
people or the other worldly and outworldly entities to actually enter this world. It happens even in Vastu, for that matter, Vastu, and even in Feng Shui also. They usually say you shouldn't be keeping a mirror opposite each other.
So when you go to one of these carnivals where there are all those mirror rooms, that's actually dangerous.
It is very
If you sit
dangerous.
around over there and keep watching all around, yeah, probably you might feel the density. But because the atmosphere over there is pretty much lightened up by everything that is going on around, the festive atmosphere that is going on, you're constantly moving through the maze, that thing doesn't really affect.
Okay. You want to talk a little bit about this mirror world? What's on the other side of it?
Hold on. I've noticed that while using AI in its various forms, random glitches or responses or outputs that literally appear possessed or demonic. Oh, there are some videos that I came across of a guy talking to ChatGPT. And it was really interesting, and it actually does kind of touch on that. So it's like something else, and I think maybe I need to do a react to his videos so that people can actually watch them, because I did post them on X like as a thread, but yeah AI is a digital. Why did you retract that? I can't read that. Stop doing that. Stop. Just stop. Get help. Just kidding. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get back into this. So he's talking
a
about
lot of entities that come from different galaxies, from different dimensions, especially. Like we stay in the third dimension, right? And to us, this object, whatever is there over here, is this exactly finite, right? If I ask you to take this and throw it out of this, or take it out of this room without puncturing the walls or without opening the doors, it'll be impossible to us. But a person in the higher dimension will be able to do that very easily. It'll just disappear out of our presence and just appear outside. Like the same way, if we take a plane, a paper, and put a two-dimensional person along with an object, a coin, inside a room, right, and ask him to move that object outside the room without puncturing or opening any door, it'll be impossible for him.
I think maybe another way of understanding this is an ant. An ant would probably be a two-dimensional
Not an ant. An ant will work on top of that. But if I draw a figure, a stick figure inside that,
Oh, okay.
along with a coin,
Okay.
right, and put a boundary around it and say, you know what, you move this coin outside the boundary without breaking the boundary, he will not be able to do that. But for us, it's very, very easy. For a three-dimensional person, it's very easy. I just pick up the coin, take it in the third dimension, and place it out. And for that particular time, it will be invisible for that person. You'll say, okay, fine, this one just disappeared from my world and just suddenly appeared outside. So in the same way,
That
what
makes
we do is in a third dimension is, if I ask you to pick up any of these objects and move it outside these three-dimensional limitations, it'll be impossible to us. We cannot see how I will be able to throw a ball outside this wall or the ceiling or the floor without actually puncturing any of those. But a person in the higher dimension, so it's very easy. You just pick it out and keep it out. And for that point of time, it will be invisible for us. It'll be suddenly, oh my God, this chamatkar, this is magic. Right. So in the same way, mirrors work in the same way. They create a different impression of what we see. Endless loops and everything of what we see. And what we see, again, is only the three-dimensional impression of what is happening actually in the higher dimensions. So what happens is these open portals for the other higher dimensions, people or different dimensional people to actually enter this world. Like the spiritual world, the energy level, everything will increase.
What else can work as a portal other than two mirrors facing each other?
There are natural portals as well,
Beautiful.
like wherein 3 elements or 4 elements interact with each other. Sometimes, some places they just create portals like water bodies, probably trees, right? Say about against each other or whatever like that. Some places, some places become natural portals for entities to enter and go.
Okay. Like, could someone's house become a portal if you do a certain ritual there?
Yeah, sure. Like for example, if at all there are objects placed in tandem which emit a lot of EMF, and like for example, an inverter battery, probably a Wi-Fi router, or probably even a refrigerator or something like that, if they're kept in a
Interesting.
triangular portion or something like that, as we there was one case that we solved like this. It creates a portal over there, and you will find a lot of entities coming in and out. And you will see that. And it's not just hallucination because everybody else is
Oh,
seeing.
wow.
What do they actually visually see?
Entities walking in and out that walls and doors. But the EMF is not actually radiated outside. It's only in that particular triangle. So you cannot say this is a hallucination, because it would have been hallucination if at all you're standing inside that EMF pollution and then afterwards experiencing this.
Okay.
But it is completely outside, and from outside the house or outside that place that a person is seeing, entities just come in and out, walking out the wall and going inside.
What does an entity look like visually?
Whatever it was in his previous life.
Like a ghost of a person.
Of a person, exactly.
Will have the same face as that person.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's a ghost.
oh my goodness. Thank you, Nanners.
Unless it does something like this, like just walking inside a wall, and then you know, okay, fine, you know what, oh, this is something that is unnatural. That really cannot happen. Or the person
Thank
that
you
is
for
disappearing,
following,
or
Brother
probably just
Bear.
glowing, or probably just a shadow figure.
Anything?
Hi. Thank you all. Thank you for the follow. Let me go ahead and go back a little bit so we can get that last bit of that conversation. You can't. Oh, so I had to read. Oh, well, thank you. I know it's so weird that we can't do that, but I didn't realize you were live. Were you still live, or were you just sending in a raid, which just so happens to have 2 people in it, which is interesting.
And then you know, okay, fine, you know what, oh, this is something that is unnatural. That really cannot happen. Or the person just disappearing, or probably just glowing, or probably just a shadow figure.
Anything scary looking?
Not really.
They look like normal humans.
They look like normal humans.
Depends on
Not really scary. Scary?
I think that depends on the entity that we're talking about here, guys. It really depends. If you're looking at just like a regular spirit, like a human, once human spirit, then you're gonna see a human. Yeah. Yeah.
Has been
We'll leave that
been
there.
portrayed by movies because they want to scare people. That's why I don't watch horror movies, because they scare people. But I deal with the real ghosts every day, so they're not really scary.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button.
They're not really
subscribe to
scary.
this
That's cute. They're not really scary. Thanks for that. Thanks. Yeah, how you doing now, North? We might as well just give you your shout out while you're here. At any rate, again, now we're gonna jump into some tarot card, tool etiquette. Okay. Now this can go true for cards, but it can also go true for like any other spiritual tool, that you've been given, that you have access to. Okay. I can't really say rated with stream elements. Oh, that's cute. I can't say that, hold on, let me pull this. Was that the right one? Yeah, okay. I can't say that I have, that I use tarot often, but I do know, but I have my own cards. I have used them here and there. I don't consider myself a reader per se. And again, it goes back to, understanding that, like not every tool is meant for every person. We'll just put it that way too. So when it comes to tarot, again, there are boundaries that should be respected. And because I'm not myself a reader, I do have a video of somebody who is a reader and her kind of going over some tool etiquette, or yeah, some tool card etiquette. But again, like what this says, tarot decks and any spiritual tool can hold an energetic imprint of the person who uses its spirit. So like I use dowsing rods. Those dowsing rods are very connected to me and how I use them and spiritually. So if I allow somebody else to touch them or to use them, there's a protection there while I'm with them, allowing them to use my tool. Now, if they were to grab my tool and use it with their own intent, and their intent doesn't align with how I do what I do, then that can hurt them and me. We'll just put it that way. Like spiritually, that can kind of mix things up, which is, can become dangerous, can open up to something else, like what you were asking on YouTube. I forget your name. BOA, BDA. I don't really know. I don't really know how to say your name. But anyway, but yeah. So again, these tools can hold energetic imprints. It bonds with the reader's spirit. Avoid using someone else's decks or using, unless you have explicit permission, and you're with them, I would say that. Each deck is tuned to each owner's intuition, so mixing energy can cause confusion or unclear readings. Again, how I use what I use is not the same way that other people would use my tool. So you can, again, the confusion, unclear readings, but you can also open up to something else. And if you borrow a deck, cleanse it, rededicate it through prayer and or smoke. For me, I would use both. Okay, smoke would be a visual. It would be more of a visual aid to what it is that I'm asking be done in this tool. And to remember, it's not superstition, it's spiritual hygiene. To respect sacred tools. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into this video here. We have this lovely reader. I just came across her stuff. She's very sweet, so that's the reason why I'm pulling her up, because she does have a video on this. Avoid it personally. It seems to me much more negative than good. So that's why, yeah, it's tricky to trust. Well, like I said before, you need to be careful with you're trusting and what you're trusting. Two, how is it that what is it that you're divining is the best way of saying it. So divination, a lot of times people are asking for future answers, and that's when things are dangerous. You should never ask about your future. And bottom line, you should never trust something else is going to give you clarity about your future. Okay? The only time you're going to get any kind of clarity is if you are aligned. And even then, you shouldn't be asking about your future, because the last thing you want is to try to make something rush or not do something trusting that that's already going to happen regardless. So you're being misled away from what your future can actually be. So don't get into that notion of, I want to know, these cards are going to tell me my future, so to speak. And that's when things get dangerous. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into this video, and she'll kind of talk about it. So what exactly do you use them for? I use it for clarity, I do use them if I would like an answer. I also use the Bible the same way. Okay. If I'm looking for a specific answer, or like something I should take into consideration, that's when I'll use them. So most recently, I'll use an example. Most recently, I had Bod. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Bod. Most recently, I asked an answer about somebody that I had romantic interest in. And like, I'm not in a point where like, I feel like I'm fully ready to dive fully into something. Beta, Omega, Delta. See, that's what I saw, but I wasn't sure if you want, like, okay. Bod works for me. Sorry, my kid thinks I usually have this pinned and I don't have it pinned right now. Anyway, I have, where was I? Oh yeah, so I had this one particular person that I was interested in, but me and God have this like understanding that like I'm not gonna just rush into something. Like I've been very clear after my last relationship that that any new relationship is gonna be something that he's going to align me into. And even though this felt like it was falling into place, I had questions, and I asked that one card be able to tell me what I need to know about this. And mind you, the moment that you start feeling confusion about anything, that's when you know it's not in alignment anymore. And about anything, the moment that you can't sleep at night, the moment that you're asking too many questions, the moment that that's when you are no longer aligned. Okay? Anything that is in alignment is not going to bring confusion. So I asked, so what am I supposed to know about this particular person and why they're in my life again? Right? And sure enough, the card that I get, and I'm not going to say which card, I'm not going to say whatever, but it basically turned to the fact that I needed to approach this person with friendship as the focus. And that in itself was enough for me to know. And sure enough, we have a conversation, and in that conversation, he makes it clear that he can only be a friend. And I loved it because, again, that was confirmation of what I had already asked for. So yeah, test your energy, frequency, and harmony. Yes, exactly. It's never used as I don't revere the cards. They're all a tool. Like, I can be a carpenter using a specific hammer, if that makes sense. Like, I use that specific hammer because I know it gets that job done. It helps complete that job. But yeah, and she's a witness. Yeah, that Nanners is a witness. So I'm in 2 different streams right now, guys. I'm streaming on YouTube and on Twitch. So there's some stuff going on Twitch too. An alignment tester, exactly. And that's anything. Hi, Noptopus. Thank you for the follow, sweetheart. So we're going to go ahead and come to this. Oh, yeah, I thought you heard that earlier, Nanners, but maybe you were stepped aside.
Hello, my friends. It's me again.
Can you hear her okay?
And I'm a professional tarot reader. And I've had about 4 years of experience doing this job. And trust me when I say it has been a wild
She seems very
4 years
quiet.
of reading for other people. Which makes me think that I am uniquely qualified to make a video like this. One where I lay out some guidelines on tarot etiquette. Things that will help you,
So quiet.
both as a reader and a client alike, to have a more fulfilled and informed tarot experience.
Well, thank you for the
Okay, I'm
follow.
going to go through my list as one rule for readers and then one rule for clients. All good? All good. Readers, be clear about what your technique is and how your process works. You can't just
100%
accept
on that.
orders and requests and then leave your clients in the dark about how your process works. That's just bad customer service. Clients, remember that you can ask as many questions as you want before you get your cards read. You are paying for the experience and you deserve to know what you're paying for. Even if you're not paying for the service with money, you are still paying for it with your energy and vulnerability. Don't be afraid to ask what the process is or what you're receiving from the service that you're requesting. Readers, please ask your clients questions about their situation if something isn't aligning with your reading for them. You are a tarot reader, not a mind reader.
Right.
I'm so happy to be moving. So happy to be moving. If something
Oh,
doesn't
sorry.
make sense to you but would make more sense if you confirmed part of a situation, then please confirm it. If the client doesn't want to confirm something with you, explain why you aren't sure about that particular aspect of the reading, or what something could mean given the situation described. Some cards might not make sense in a reading given the amount of information that a reader knows. So it can be very expected to not be completely clear on certain cards given the information that you have been told. Bear in mind that the psychically inclined aren't the only people that can read tarot cards. Tarot card reading is a skill, but it does require a level of information to get as accurate a reading as possible. Without all of the information, you might miss key details that will tell you the outcomes of situations and events. So don't be afraid to confirm things or to ask. Clients, readers not knowing everything about a reading is normal and reasonable, so please be forthcoming with information. Tarot reading isn't a test of psychic skill. It's a spiritual conversation,
Right.
if you will. When you act like a reader should know something, despite the fact that you have not shared that information, it undermines their ability to give you a positive and clear reading. This then leaves you both with a bad experience. Sometimes, both you and the reader are going to be completely confused. And
Yeah.
usually that's because there is a piece of information that neither of you know yet. And it's only when that information is revealed that you will understand what the reading truly meant. And that in itself is completely reasonable. Remember that your reader can only know as much as you tell them. Readers, please charge what your labor is worth and nothing less. Give yourself an hourly rate for your labor and then add $2. Price everything in accordance with how much work you put in. While I think this is good advice for any freelancer, I know
I don't know
that
how I
in
feel about-
spiritual services it can be so easy
that,
to sell yourself
but-
short for varying different
I just
reasons.
hit my
Other
foot
people's
real
readings
bad.
are cheaper, you want to get more clients in, you don't feel worthy of receiving the money, or you feel that it's wrong to take money from others that are in need of your services. But remember that the customer that you are serving, your client in that moment has chosen you for a reason. And if they want you to read for them, then they need to pay for your services.
Okay, so on that, I think what people like to think of is money is this very superficial thing, but it's an exchange of energy and an exchange of time. So when you're doing readings for somebody and you feel like you shouldn't be paid, must go to the corner shop. Catch you later if you're still on. Oh, okay. Thank you, Bod. Thanks. I might not be on by the time you come back, but I appreciate you hanging out with us. Again, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. And I might be on again later tomorrow or about the same time tomorrow so that I can finish this because I don't think I'm going to finish all of the conversation before I have to leave to go get my children. Anyway, but yeah, again, back to the whole money thing. Money is an exchange of energy. It is not superficial. My time for your time. It's that kind of thing. Don't see it as it's being greedy by asking for money for your gifts, for sharing your gifts. If you were singing on the street, you would like for somebody to tip you. If you were serving them because your hospitality is your gift, you would like to be tipped. That's just kind of how it is. You're exchanging energy and experience. So do not think that your services as a reader or divination or whatever it may be, should be anything less. Should be seen as anything less.
And unfortunately, this is just the case for living under capitalism. Remember that you too have to live within this system, and if you can make your readings cheaper
That works
without
too.
putting yourself in a deficit, then you should do so, to make them more accessible to others. But that's no reason to charge less than your worth in your services. All of this being said, clients, do not go looking for freebies. This is a profession and a skill just like any other profession and skill. I think this goes without saying, but unless someone is offering free readings, don't try and get your reading for free. I have had many people try and succeed in getting free readings from me by appearing earnest and then ghosting before paying. For the majority of readers, we are independent businesses that generally need money to survive in the capitalist hellscape that we live in. If you're going to steal from anyone, at least make it McDonald's or H&M and something they can recoup the cost. Most of us readers can't. Our last one is for both readers and clients. Readers and clients. A reading session isn't supposed to be a test or a battle of wits. It's supposed to be a safe space to work through spiritually related challenges and struggles. Readers want to provide their service smoothly, and clients want help in navigating their lives with the help of spiritual practitioners. We shouldn't be fighting each other just because of a few scam artists. Tarot reading, both for readers and clients alike, relies on your ability to be open. So let's
Right.
extend that same feeling to one another, okay?
That's good.
I hope that this video could provide a little bit of guidance to maybe those that want to start tarot reading as a job, those that are maybe just getting into tarot reading and would like to know what to look for in their readers, and just about everybody in between. If you've liked what you've seen here, and you would like to hear more from me about tarot, spirituality, and the whole wide world of the occult, then consider subscribing to the channel, giving this video a like, or commenting some of the strange things that you've experienced in your time as either a client of tarot readers or a tarot reader yourself. The more that we share about our experiences, the better we can make our communities. I'm also thinking of maybe doing a day in the life video where I show you my process of working with clients and dealing
That's cute. I like that. I like that. At any rate. That was pretty good. I like that. I liked her touch on that. I feel like it's good for us to learn how to respect other readers and things along those lines. For sure. 100% for sure. Now the next thing is veiling. As you can tell, I have a veil, and I talked about my veil earlier too. Every time this starts to fall, because a lot of times I pin my veil, but I don't have it pinned right now. Right now, I just have it free flowing. But with this being said, veiling is very important when it comes to spiritual safety. Now, not everybody veils, and veiling can be very different in different can be seen in different ways. Basically, it's just about covering your head, covering your crown, because that's where you get your most spiritual connection from the top of your head. Okay, the top of your head, the back of your neck, those are the places where you get the most downloads, so to speak, spiritual connection. Right, that's why usually when you feel like something's happening, you may get something in your gut, because that is something that is intuition, and then you may feel something in your head. It's okay, because that's when you're understanding that you're receiving a message, so to speak. Now with that said, sorry, let me go ahead and see what I might be missing in this conversation before I get to that. All right. So there's different ways that you can use veiling. Right now, just so you all, we're just going to go through this. Obviously, it's an ancient act of spiritual covering. It's humility, focus, and protection. So, it basically humbles you. It prepares you for what it is that you're going to be doing, right? If you're going to be in prayer, if you're going to be in meditation, before ritual, whatever it may be, it's helping you to get focused, right? It's kind of like putting on, and I don't want to say this lightly, but it's kind of just for those of you who aren't aware, it's like when you put on a costume before you play that role, so to speak. You're stepping into your a spiritual space. So when you put on your veil, you're understanding that you're that you need to be respectful of what it is that you're about to be doing and focused. Okay. So the crown energy, like I said, it receives the most energy. So, or, divine energy. So veiling guards and grounds it. So what you want to do is make sure that you're protecting that space, right? Now, a lot of people will veil daily, and you'll see a lot of those religions that do believe in veiling at all times, which I'm not against at all, because I understand the reasoning behind it. However, there are different ways to veil if you feel like you need to veil at all times. Sometimes you can even do it as a maybe sometimes you can even do like a symbolic way of veiling. So meaning like you can use like oil or like holy water or sometimes Florida water, things like that, that are known to be blessed, and you can put them on your crown as a veil, if that makes sense. For me, I it depends on the situation that I'm in that I make sure that my head is covered, if that makes sense, like fully covered. Um, I like how it says this, so it reminds you that it represents the covenant and reverence, not fear. So, just again, that you're focused on your revering to what it is that you are doing in the moment. And then the tip is to use natural fabrics, cotton, linen, and silk, and then to treat it as spiritual armor. So when you're putting it on, that it's spiritual protection. Like right now we're having a spiritual conversation, which is why I chose to veil during the conversation. Okay. Now, we do have one video. Now this does come from somebody who is an active Catholic, but she does discuss some veiling techniques that she knows. Again, this is done throughout a lot of religions around the world, and not just religions, okay? And this is done through a lot of different faith, spiritual practitioners, and things like that. This is just a video that I found where she kind of discusses different ways to veil and such.
Wear. So traditionally, women who are married wear a black veil, and women who aren't married wear a white veil. I personally have many different colored veils, so it really doesn't matter, but traditionally it is like white equals
like a
unmarried,
Catholic
black
tradition, the
equals
colors.
married. But people constantly change their veil color depending on the liturgical color or depending on what matches their outfit. So it's really not that big of a deal. I sometimes, especially for like Good Friday, Palm Sunday, etc., I will wear a black veil just because it's one of those solemn liturgical holidays. But you don't have to do that. It's up to you though. But yeah, traditionally it's white equals unmarried, black equals married. There's also a lot of different styles of veils. There is infinity veils, there's triangle veils, there's little doilies they're just like little doilies that you put on your head too. I have all different types of veils, but those three are the most common. There's a lot of other ones too. But again, those are the most common three,
like, the
is the
Catholic
triangle veils, and then the
tradition,
mantillas,
okay?
and then the
A lot of other veils that you'll see are like head wraps, headbands, bandanas. Those are all different ways that you can veil. You don't have to veil in anything that is considered traditional. Obviously, like this is a shawl that I use as a veil. So prayer shawl, you know what I mean? I did choose black. I have other headbands that I use as veils as well. Those are all different colors. I bless those before I put them on. Again, these are a representation of the armor that I'm putting on my head. Okay, this is not me fully regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards, that ye may not be defiled by them, Lord your God. What are we doing here? Are you throwing out scripture believing that that's that makes sense to you? I mean, that's fine. That can make sense to you. We're not gonna get on that. At any rate, back to what veiling is and how it's used. Again, you can use anything. Some people use headbands. Some people use even caps, hats. You can use them as veiling techniques as well. And again, this is done all throughout all different faiths, especially in Jewish faiths. They do believe in wearing their yarmulke when they walk into anywhere they are. If they are more Orthodox, they are going to be wearing their yarmulke at all times. They have prayer shawls. And then a lot of women actually do fully veil, especially if they are Orthodox, meaning they even hide their hair. Sometimes they'll even wear wigs because they're hiding their actual crown. Okay, and I know a lot of people don't know that, but it's stuff that I have learned over time. Yeah, so they'll wear wigs that look very similar to their natural hair, but their intention is just to keep them shielded, right?
Infinity veils. Personally, for me, I am not the biggest fan of the infinity veils. I just feel like they're very big and I feel like they weigh down my hair quite a bit. That's just my personal experience because there's so much fabric. I really like the triangle veils because I can either tie it behind my hair or under my chin so they don't come off. So I have a lot more flexibility with the triangle veils than I do the infinity veils, but there are beautiful infinity veils out there. I just prefer triangle veils. Okay, the next question is one that I get quite often, and it's what if I'm afraid to start veiling? Obviously, you don't want to feel super self-conscious, especially if you aren't used to veiling. However, I'm going to be honest with you, people don't care. Like, you might feel like people are looking at you, and a couple might just like turn to look, but honestly, they really do not care. And at the end of the day, it's important to remember that we should be veiling for Christ. We shouldn't be veiling for the acceptance of others. However, I was raised veiling, so it's really not a weird concept to me. However, I have plenty of friends who were not raised veiling, and so it was a bit more of a struggle for them to get used to it and not get self-conscious about it. So one of the biggest suggestions that I have for you guys who are a little worried about it is to get a veil that matches your hair color. There are tons of different veil options on Amazon and on Etsy. You could even make your own veil. That's if you want to sew and make a project. They're super easy to make. Tons of YouTube videos on it.
That's cute. I like
but
that.
just get a veil that matches closely to your hair color. But just try to get one that's closest to it so then it doesn't feel as unnatural as wearing like an electric blue. That way you don't stand out as much and you might feel a little bit more comfortable. Where should you get your veil? Now, of course, you can order them online, but I personally love supporting Catholic shops if possible. So if you have a Catholic store near you, I highly
cute.
suggest you go support them and get your veils from them. If you don't have a Catholic, last thing
if
we're
you're
going to
Catholic,
touch on
I-
is, do I
yeah,
have to wear a
do that.
veil? Technically, no. You actually don't have to wear a veil. You could wear a very nice hat. No baseball caps, no cowboy hats, nothing like that. Obviously, it has to be a very
said,
fancy,
hats
very
can be
nice
used as
hat.
veiling.
You could also choose to wear a doily, which is basically like a chapel veil kind of thing, which is like just a little round thing that you wear on your head. But no, you don't have to wear a veil. You could wear a very nice hat, a doily. You could put a scarf over your head. Basically, just
This is
cover your
for
hair,
more,
your
like,
head in a very
Orthodox
tasteful manner. And with all of that
Catholic,
being said, I hope this was a good introduction for
upbringing.
you who want to start veiling. If you have any more questions, of course, you feel free to email me.
But yeah, I mean, obviously there's different ways of doing what you do and why. Again, like I said, for me, I do veil when I'm, oh no, that's no bueno. Give me a second, guys. It looks like one of the things that I had doesn't want to. We're gonna end the show real quick. That's weird. So strange. It's like my, what is happening here? It's like my, what I had written just like got moved around. Oh, which is fine. I'll fix that right now. I just want to make sure it reads right for you all right now. So we're going to just have to go into that and fix that. I've returned. There was a half moon in the clouds. cool. Oh, that's really cool. Maybe spookies. Kind of, yeah. Sorry guys, I have to fix this because it seems like I had some stuff just effed with me. So we're not going to use the same, which is fine. Oh, maybe that's all I needed to do. Maybe I just needed to switch this instead. Sorry, I just want to make sure that you guys can see what I have out here on here for you. 'Cause it's for you to. I'm one of those people that is like very much a visual learner, so I like to make sure that we have visuals. There you go. It's pretty simple there. Swap. And then we're going to go to... So some of these might not make sense because I had to move them around because they don't look quite the same, but it's fine. I don't have any more videos that we're going to be presenting, so this is all going to be just the slideshow and conversation from here. No, the woman I was watching, it was actually is a Catholic. She's a more traditional Catholic, but she was just talking about her veiling, like why veiling is important and like how to start veiling and what veiling is for her, and it basically aligns very similar to what I was talking about, so it was just kind of have a conversation around it. But yeah, the next thing, oh, that's funny, I have something up in here that doesn't belong there, but well, you guys can't see it. I can, maybe you can, I don't know, I kind of not too worried about it. The next thing is doorways, protecting your doorways. Now I am not very familiar with how what you all are aware of, but when it comes to certain everyday items, sometimes people can allow things into their home. So with that, we are touching on threshold energy and welcome mats. We do, for any reason at all, just do not use any mat that says welcome. Do not, because you are quite literally welcoming anything in. Stay away from a welcome mat, especially during around Halloween. Okay, like I said, the veil is thinner, so we want to be smarter about what's happening and what we're doing. So with a whole bunch of kids coming to and from your door with their parents, people can attract specific spirits daily, okay? But when you have something on your door that says welcome, those spirits are just as welcome as anybody else that you may greet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You want to be very smart about that. So your doorway is a spiritual threshold or energies cross. Sorry, I have this all like mixed up, so please excuse me. Do not pay attention to that typo there. But yes, your doorway is a spiritual threshold where your energies cross. When your doormat says welcome, it symbolically can invite anything, like we just touched on. Choose mats with blessings or neutral imagery. I completely got rid of my mat because I had one that said welcome and I really loved it, but I didn't realize it. And mind you, I will be honest, when I had that and with the way things are around my apartments, I did have a lot more spiritual warfare. A lot more, because I was unaware of what I was doing. And just being smart about it just kind of leave it more neutral. Just leave it neutral. There's no reason to have welcome on there. Or anything for that matter, but leave it neutral. And then the other thing, keep your doorways clean and occasionally anoint them with oil or salt. Now I use oil, I use salt, I do smoke, I do also like sage and incense. I even do a mixture of salt and cornstarch, which is another thing for another day. But again, these are all different things that are my own practices. I'm not saying that these are all things for everybody, but salt and oil is a very smart way to start anointing, blessing, and keeping your pathway and your threshold covered. Now, I do have a faith aligned blessing here for you all. May all who enter bring peace and leave in light. Okay, so it's just kind of a very open, aligned blessing that you can have on your door whenever you're blessing it, so that you have it just protected, of course. And the next one, this is a big one, and this is something that we were touching on earlier, but just so you are aware, do not idolize the tools. Do not idolize your crystals. Do not idolize herbs. Do not idolize any other spiritual objects. These are all objects. They are not worth any kind of idolatry. Okay? They are all, again, they're symbols. They are not the source. They are symbols of what it is that you're asking for, that you are praying for, that you're trying to align with. Have you ever used psychedelics and spiritual rituals? Is that too dangerous? I have not. I do know others who have. I have considered it. But I actually don't think I'm a person that needs it. I really considered it for a very long time. They do have, believe it or not, they do have Christian ayahuasca retreats. They do have some out here. But I did think that there wasn't a purpose for that for me. And because of my own connection with Yahuwah, and how close and tight I feel to Yahshua, Yahuwah, and Ruach HaKodesh. Like I really feel very, very guided by the Ruach. Like, and it's and I don't think a lot of people can really say that. And I feel like a lot of people who wind up using psychedelics first are seeking that kind of connection. But I've very much felt like over time, I've just naturally really developed it. And that's also why I've been given the gifts that I've been given. Which, again, like I said, a lot of people will call that mediumship, but I don't really call that. It sounds hard to believe, but when I first did, I literally levitating. You started levitating your keys in your hand. I don't think that's hard to believe at all. I think psychedelics are known to turn on different parts of our bodies, and there's different types of energy that we can have, and that can be another conversation for another day. But we naturally do have electronic frequencies, magnetic frequencies that come through us. Our body is very much that. We are our own like engine of sorts, right? We do have energy that comes from us, through us, to us, around us, and out of us, right? So I am actually not surprised. I'm not surprised. I do believe a lot, like those people that are able to like bend spoons, they just kind of, the Kundalini system, yes or no? I think that's I think that's one way of saying it, because again, it's a way that others can perceive and understand, because it's more spoken of, but it's very much like there's no need to put a name on it, but yes, it is aligned with that. Does that make sense? Like the holy oil, the Christos, things like that. Like it's all pretty much the same thing, correct? And then just remember that all the tools are part of the creation. They are not the divine. So they only help amplify the focus, but they do not have the authority. They are not in divine authority. So make sure that that again, you're not idolizing any of the tools. So you're not wearing a crystal because you want a certain thing to happen. You're not wearing, no, you're wearing it in representation of what you're asking for. Make sure that you pray over your tools so that you are in alignment when you wear them, if that makes sense, or when you use them. Like a roadmap or toolkit, if you will. Another way of teaching is simple. Yeah, exactly. And again, like this is also something I'm already saying. The Spirit gives power. It is through Ruach HaKodesh. It is through the Holy Spirit. It is through the divine that we are given, that there is any power in anything. It itself is not the source, so do not think that it is that is going to help you. Like, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people use selenite to do cleansing rituals, and I fully believe in that. I do believe in finding a tool that can help you with cleansing, but again, it's representation of where you are focusing the cleansing and what you're trying to receive from it. Everything, every color, every type of stone, every type of smoke, whatever it is, every herb, they are all symbolic of something. They all carry a symbolic presence to them, but that doesn't mean that they have the power. You are still needing to put the power in the source. Put the faith and the understanding in the source, not in the object. Okay, I feel like that needs to be understood too. Please, for every good and perfect gift is from above. Every gift, everything that is here is a gift from God. We know this. We do. Now, everyday ritual, spiritual boundaries. A reminder: protection equals peace, not paranoia. We are not afraid. We're not doing this out of fully believe in Yahweh. I'm just constantly unsure. It's very complicated. I see what you mean. See, for me, I fully believe that he was God incarnate, you know. I do believe that is why he was resurrected. His life on earth showed us that he was human, but his resurrection reminded us that he was God. And I think it's all just very true. It's all one and the same. I fully believe that Yahshua was the Word, you know, the Word, the breath of life. I do believe that is Yahshua's role, and then he was given a physical body to complete the task to help bring us back to Yahweh. Because I do believe that's what Yahweh was wanting all along. He was wanting that faith to come back. Because why was it so much longer, so much later that it happened, right? It's because over time, his followers stopped following in faith, and they started following in ritual. And they started following in tradition. And there was no longer faith attached to it. He wants that relationship with you. That's the reason I said, this is who I am. This is not meant for everybody. Okay, I'm just showing you and I'm teaching you based off of what I've learned, what I've gone through, my own practices, but what I've learned with the guidance of Yahuwah. So I've been able to really sit in it before ever presenting any of this to you all, and ever feeling safe enough to discuss this. And again, the reason this is being discussed is because the veil is thinning. Right now, we're about to be in a thinner veil. We've already been thinning for a while, but now we are in that time of year where the veil does thin. Very much so. So the dead walk among us, the spirits walk among us, everything. Read the Old Testament Gospels. 100% I want to believe. I just can't fully commit. That's on you. I can't tell you what to believe. I can only tell you my testimony and how I fully revere that, especially after seeing the Shroud of Turin. Yeah, Halloween is at the thinnest point. Yes, between the 31st and the 5th is when it's thin, but Halloween is like the pinnacle. So again, let's go back into this everyday spiritual boundaries. A reminder: protection equals peace, not paranoia. Regular prayer, cleansing, and sealing your space is equal to honoring the light. So that's how you show your reverence and your faith. Okay, so your regular devotion to keeping your space spiritually cleansed is how you show your faith. You're not guarding out of fear, you're maintaining alignment. That is very focused. Now, some simple tools you can use with prayer. I use them with prayer. I've talked about this. I've also used other things, but here are just some that are really easy because they're already kind of in most people's homes, which is you can light pure candles, or you can light oil lamps. I wouldn't use an oil lamp, just because I feel like I would be scared of spilling that, but I have a lot of little people and little animals around, so that's my thing. But lighting pure candles, a white candle, even a black candle, it really doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, the color of the candle, they do matter in certain rituals, only for the symbolism of it. But at the end of the day, if you want to light a candle in prayer, it really doesn't matter, as long as you know what your intent is when you're lighting the candle and what what you're trying to align with, right? Going to make some holy water. Yeah, I mean, you know how. I actually have recently learned how to make holy water, and I think I should make holy water, but just make sure that if you are ever going to make holy water, you need to be using it from a natural body of water. So do not use tap water. Okay? Don't use any bottled distilled water. If you are going to use any kind of bottled water, get spring water that comes from a natural source. So yeah, just an FYI, you're supposed to be using natural sourced water, not something that's been filtered and such. Okay, so just an FYI, if you decide that you want to make holy water, something I have learned. Okay. Declare scriptural affirmations over your home. So like Psalms 91, Ephesians 6, those are protective scriptures. And then lastly, speak peace daily over your home. Do not accept negative energy. Don't agree in it. Don't sit in it as if you're in agreement with the fact that there is something negative in your home. Recognize it, get rid of it. Okay, always speak peace into your home daily. It's just make it part of your daily practice, whether you just pray every night, you pray every morning, you do both, you pray throughout the day. I'm one of those people that prays throughout the day. Like the moment that I feel like I'm kind of getting lost in my thoughts is the moment that I start to pray. Because I'm all like, well, if I'm getting lost in my thoughts, then I'm starting to get confused. So then it's time to lock in and start to pray. So that's how I am. Okay. And with that said, guys, I'm actually going to end this in a prayer. Okay. I hope you all could reflect a little bit on this conversation. I hope that this helped bring some understanding to a lot of what's been going on. How to be, again, safe. Okay. And with that, let me go ahead and close this in prayer. I did have a prayer prepared for us. Ooh. You enjoyed the chat. Thank you so much. To purify water, white stone is good. Oh yeah, add some special salt. Yes, that's exactly it. And pray it full of the Holy Spirit. Exactly. You lay your hands in it. You can use even like a cross while you're laying your hands in the water to purify the water and to bless it to become holy water. Exactly. I actually I have holy water from the Jordan River itself. That's actually what I do get. But aside from that, you know what it is. And again, we're gonna go ahead and close with a prayer. We're going to have just a nice little short thing. This is just kind of bringing everything together. May every mirror reflect only divine light. May every shield may every veil shield divine truth, and may every threshold become welcome peace under Yahuwah's protection, and may you all live safely and in Yahuwah's light. Amen. Christian with water from Jerusalem, unsure. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Amen. Again, if you guys haven't followed, just go ahead and follow now. I am more active on Twitch than anything else. This is my more spiritual side of conversation. I do also have my fun side of just like playing around and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe with the veil thinning, and I hope this helps you. Have a wonderful one.